afternoon, and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, IMAC Med Spa, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host
Dr. Thomas Polucki.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, we have Cardon Ellis from Unipest Control.
Hey.
And that is saving our lives, especially when we have critters crawling around the house, especially ants.
Yeah,
But I don't have them anymore.
I know. I was about to say it, but you really hate those things. It's like the third time you mentioned those ants, man.
Oh,
Everybody in your neighborhood gets rats.
rats?
Yeah, rats, man. That's what's up.
I haven't seen any rats.
Well, yeah, you don't. They're clandestine. For every one you see, there's 50 you don't. That's their evolutionary defense mechanism is their silence. Because if they make noise, the predators find them and eat them.
So where do they hide then?
In the attics.
I don't have an attic.
I know. That's why you probably don't have rats.
Oh, that's
But
good.
yeah,
It's nice to know.
no, it's actually kind of crazy. We had rats came over in the 1700s, the early 1800s on trading vessels from Southeast Asia. The rodents that we have here, the vast majority of the biomass in Santa Clarita of rodents is not indigenous. It's actually an invasive rat called the fruit rat or the tree rat. It has a super long tail that's nearly prehensile, and they spend 90% of their life above ground. And so because a lot of the architecture and the architectural booms in Santa Clarita happened in the 60s and 70s when big attics were popular, they infest a lot of the attics. Talk to any air conditioning guy, talk to any insulation repairman. Like Santa Clarita, we got rats in the attic, baby. It's pretty cool.
Glad I don't have an attic. I have a flat roof.
Does that get hot in the summer?
No.
No? How does it not get
It's
hot?
it's very well insulated. And my roofer built some very slight, what do you call them?
A pitch?
Well, yeah, he built it up just a little bit so that the rain runs off. I don't have any problem with water staying on the roof. And of course, the air conditioning is on the roof too. All the ducts and the units are on the roof.
Whoa, you got one of those houses, huh?
Yes.
Where it looks like a spaceship from the top
Yeah,
up, you know?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, where's Santa gonna land? Like, you know?
Well, Santa always knocked at the front door.
Oh, very proper.
And
He's
left.
English Santa.
Yes, and left the pillowcase full of toys. He knocked, and then he'd leave the pillowcase full of toys, and then he'd ride off.
Is that like how you did it when you were a kid, or what?
Well, I lived in a 2-story house, and I remember one Christmas, my brother was about a little over a year old, I guess, something like that, and I was pestering him, making him cry, and my mother told me, if you don't behave yourself, Father Christmas is not going to visit you.
Father Christmas.
I said,
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He visits all children. And my mother looked at me and she said, be careful what you say, Babs. And so I went on up to bed and went to sleep. And I woke up in the morning and my pillowcase full of toys was not outside my bedroom door.
Oh.
And I panicked and I ran across the hallway into my parents' room. And I said, Father Christmas didn't leave me any toys. And I was hysterical practically. And my mother said, he didn't? I said, no, he didn't. And she said, well, maybe he left them downstairs. So I went flying down the stairs, almost tripped and fell. And sure enough, right in front of the fireplace was my pillowcase full of toys.
Oh, but you had a scare there, huh?
Well, they told me. So I didn't bother my little brother anymore. I left him alone.
Dude, that's all it takes.
Yeah. You're lucky Krampus didn't come. We love the Krampus.
Unfortunately, my brother passed away a year ago, and he had cancer that he didn't take care of. He absolutely refused to get treatment, and Sharon, his wife, she couldn't force him to. He wouldn't go. So
Really?
he said, "I'm not going to go have that stuff done to my body," because he had known that I had it. You know, I had it once already, and I had it twice, but this was before he passed away my second time. But no, he absolutely refused to go and get any kind of chemotherapy.
Ooh, that's a tough
So,
one.
oh, it was tough for her. In fact, I talked to her yesterday. She's in the process of selling their house now and is going to move closer to relatives. And I said, well, let me know and I'll bring you out here for a visit. You need to come and see us out here. Get away from there for a while. So she said, well, let me find my place where I'm going to stay and then I'll give you a call.
Does she have a cool accent like you?
No, she's American.
Oh, okay, cool. I was
She's
saying,
American.
well, I don't know her brother.
She
Maybe it was
talks
like an
like
English
everybody
woman. You
here.
know,
Well,
like,
I don't. Do I still have an accent? I've
Yeah.
been
dude,
here.
it's
Something.
awesome. I want you to do my voicemail. No, but it's subtle enough where it adds some mystery, like, ooh, what's this lady's story? You know, but it's not like overwhelming where it's like, oh gosh, get me away from King George's friend. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool, you know?
Well, I'm in the process of writing my history, and it's very interesting history. Very interesting.
Hey, so how are you doing that, by the way? Are you just typing it out? Are you just
Well, I typed it. I started typing it out, and then my granddaughter said, "I'd rather you talk into a microphone
yeah.
and start talking." And she said, "Then we can listen to it and go through and eliminate what we don't need." So that's what we're working on now.
See, I'm in the process of trying to do that for my mother. She passed suddenly and unexpectedly just about a month or two ago.
Oh no!
And yeah, it's unfortunately part of life, right?
Yes.
But I'm trying to preserve all the positive and good memories I have of her because unfortunately it's something that people oftentimes do later in life when they A, have a different perspective, and B, you can't remember everything.
No.
You know, and there's just memories that come up that are super vivid where I just think I haven't thought this thought in 20 years. How am I going to remember at the end of my life when it's time to write everything down this specific thought? But it's so lovely and good, I want it preserved. So I actually restored an old IBM Selectric 2 typewriter that she bought in 1982. I just paid. I found a typewriter repairman that used to be a technician on that specific model, the IBM Selectric 2 that came out in like 1983 or something.
Is
and
that the one with the ball?
It's the one with the ball.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
I
dude,
love that ball.
and it like literally a human being cannot type as fast as that thing lets it go. I've restored lots of other typewriters. I've restored, I looked into the old Royal typewriters that you talked about. I found out actually my father grew up with one of those. They had two Royals in their house. I restored an Olivetti Lettera 22, which is my personal favorite. It's an Italian one. I know you don't get along with Italians that much, but no, I'm just totally kidding. Yeah, the Royal typewriter is good, and then I restored her IBM Selectric, and that one's pretty awesome. And so we're preserving all of our memories and writing all the positive memories we have of my mother down on that typewriter. And then I scan them into a PDF form. But I find that it's so valuable to actually have the physical media. Like that's something unique about typing is because it almost like encourages you to type more because you see that stack of things you've already typed. Files on a digital screen, they don't inspire as much as like actually seeing the typed page.
No, that's very true. That's very true. Very true. But it's interesting because I've been writing down a lot of, not writing, but typing on the computer a lot of what I went through. And of course, when you think of something that triggers another thought on something else that I hadn't thought about. And I was lying in bed after I was reading and trying to go to sleep. And for some reason, I couldn't go to sleep a couple of nights ago. And something clicked in my mind, and I was thinking of all the different things that I did during the Second World War when the bombs were dropping all over the place. And
Yeah.
we'd look up in the sky and hear this buzz bomb and see the fire. And then the fire stopped and the noise stopped, and here it came, and you never knew where it was going to land and explode, you know. So that's the kind of
Wait,
thing
so
I'm
I
working on
forgot you
now.
survived the Battle of Britain, but I thought you were in
Second
a
World
suburb.
War. I
Didn't you
was,
say last story that you were in a suburb and you had to go to school in a gas mask?
oh yeah, but I did live in London for a long time because my dad worked for for King Edward, who abdicated the throne,
Oh,
and we had to live off the campus of the palace, and
wow.
yeah, it was called Charterhouse. It's changed now. I don't know what it is. All kinds of people used to there. My dad is in his refinery, standing behind Edward in this big hall. I've got a big picture of it. And
What's a
picture of him
refinery?
in his refinery.
Oh, like
His
fine clothing?
clothes, yes.
Oh, yeah. See, I had to put that through the English calculator. Like you guys call it rubbish instead of trash, right?
Yes.
And so instead of like formal attire, you call it refinery.
Yes.
I'm so using that right now. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to be like, hey, babe, throw on your best refinery. We're going out to the Newhall refinery. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be so fun. I don't know what it is, but I love making you laugh. You are the funnest person on the planet. If I were a millionaire, I would pay to have you move in next door to me just so I could say things to you when we both went to our cars in the morning. And I'd probably do pranks on you as well. I just admit it. I would probably do pranks on you as well. But yeah, I want to hear some English curse words or something. I don't know what it is, but it's fun.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, that
But
one's
it's
fun.
bloody L.
Oh, really?
That's the Cockney, because Cockneys leave the H's off all of the words
Yeah.
where they're supposed to be and put them on words that aren't supposed to have them.
Yeah, I served my mission in Argentina with somebody from the old empire, shall we say. And it was hilarious because they would say things that like I don't even know if I can say on radio because like apparently they didn't just carry the same gravitas that it does here, right? But one day we were like he was literally from the pulpit and he was like, "Oi, mates, if somebody doesn't talk to you, then just, like DM to H and move on," right? We're just like, "Oh my gosh, you're in a church, brother." You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa. And so when they were making fun of him, we just said, yeah, the BLOOD word, right? And he goes like, "Oi, friend, oh, hey," like he was like aghast that we would say that. So it is pretty funny, just hearing the reversal of the mother tongue, So
But, well, wait a minute. Your time is almost over and we haven't talked about Unipest.
no, yeah, it's been for what you want to know. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all. I mean, there's rats in England too. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're everywhere, dude. In fact, at this point, you probably have the same rats in England that we have in Santa Clarita. We're sharing bugs. In fact, these cockroaches that are taking over, they're like you'll see them in a lot of the parks, public areas, sidewalks, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
The big
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah, they're big and they're
Yeah.
fast. Have
Yeah.
you noticed how
Oh
fast they
my
are?
goodness,
Are they
they're
flying or
fast.
no?
Okay, so all cockroaches have wings. Okay, so at some point in their evolutionary life, scientists would tell you they had flight. Palmetto roaches, you'll see them fly, mostly kind of like the same flight turkeys have. They're not necessarily directional flyers, but
Yeah.
like people have seen them spread their wings in certain occasions and so on and so forth. But they're actually Turkistan cockroaches. They're well adapted to dry and hot environments because they come from the Middle East. And we brought them over, it was either 1993 and 1996, 2 military bases, one in Georgia and then one in Los Angeles, accidentally brought them back on the pallets of a couple of C-130s from Desert Storm. Remember the original Desert Storm?
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought back the Turkistan cockroach, and now that one is replacing the Oriental cockroach, which it's really, really funny because like I always say that naming insects is like the last bastion of like World War II nationalism and racism combined, right? Because the German cockroaches, which invade restaurants, were named by a French scientist who just hated the Germans, even though they came from Asia and they were found in the restaurants. He just hated the Germans. So he called them German cockroaches. So restaurant roaches are still to this day called German cockroaches. And then the cockroaches that he found in the quote Oriental restaurants that had more moisture, more oil and things like that actually come from like the North Middle East and then like Southeast Asia. And now the cockroach that you find in the deserts of Southern California that's replacing all of the previous American and Oriental cockroach infestations is the Turkistan cockroach, which apparently actually does originate from Turkistan. So it's the only properly named cockroach in town.
Well, I see a couple of them on the sidewalk.
Yeah. You can eat them too. How crazy is that? And maybe not the one on the sidewalk, but they're farming these roaches now and making protein bars out of them.
What?
And no, I'm not kidding you. This ain't Soylent Green. There's a massive movement right now to figure out how to farm cockroaches. Because just like you find cricket bars, have you seen the cricket bars?
Yeah. And it's not just that. They are putting it as an additive into like regular food. And unless you're really hip and keen on the names of these bugs, you're not going to know that, oh, by the way, I'm eating bugs.
Wait, what, so they're adding it to like
regular
what?
foods. I think I don't.
So it's like when they found the horse meat in the lasagna and they were cheating and getting that 5% by adding horse meat.
Yep. It's a big protein boost, and it is clean protein, but most people still
eat the bugs.
Yeah, most people are still not cool with the idea of bugs in their food, so they're disguising it by using the scientific name of the bug on the label. So they're putting that this is in there, but nobody knows that they're eating bugs. It's in a lot of food.
Dude. Okay, so I would be more tempted to eat the raw straight bug if it was farmed in a sterile environment, like maybe on a kebab. That's kind of like a hipster thing. Come on, you're looking kind of gross, but before you married your lovely and talented husband, did you not date hipsters that would eat weird things?
No, I did not. I think I'm too old for hipsters.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
I
The
think
80s had their
hipsters-
versions of hipsters.
yeah,
They
I
just
guess.
listened to
I
David
don't know.
Bowie.
You go to any seaside town here, and they all have that like bug candy, right? You go down, and there's going to be one store that has the bizarre candy that's made out of like hot peppers or scorpions or
Scorpion on a
something like
stick.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Well, okay, so we 82% of the world eats bugs.
Yeah.
Okay, our culture does not. We're obsessed with our mammal meat. Okay, but 82% of the world eats bugs. Termites. I have eaten termites though. If I come next show with some breaded termites in Africa, termites are huge. But I'll bring you some homegrown drywood termites from a sterile environment. They'll be clean. We can either add them to a nice little mango shake, or we can bread them and bake them. Which one do you want? Babs, Aunt Babs. Which one do you want?
It's not Aunt Babs, it's Aunt Babs.
It's Aunt Babs
yes.
or Aunt Babs.
I'm
Okay,
not
cool.
an aunt. I'm an aunt.
You're an aunt. Okay, I dig it. So which one do you want? Breaded, boiled, or
I
baked?
don't think I want any, thank you.
Well, you're getting them anyway. Whether he serves them to you or not, they're already in the food that you eat.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
There's an
Well,
acceptable amount of bug remains in every food product.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what
They
do I
don't have to
do?
label
Quit
it.
eating?
Yeah, pretty much.
And just
I've
pass
heard-
away?
I've heard that it's in peanut butter, right?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
in
like,
everything.
That's like the
It's-
most common.
It's in everything.
knowledge
Chocolate.
thing.
Like
Oh, don't ruin chocolate for me.
sorry.
Don't do that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you got to think. I mean,
Think?
bugs.
What's that?
Bugs like what we like to eat as well.
Oh, I know
they're
they
going to
do.
go nuts for
they're
chocolate.
all over the place.
I had some remaining treats. The little thing that you give at weddings. So we had chocolate, whatever they're called, truffles or whatever.
Yeah.
And we had a few remaining ones in the attic. And I go up there one time and it looks like 4th of July confetti. Like they went nuts. They tore the bags apart. It was shredded and thrown all over the place because they were stoned on the chocolate.
Yes. So you can always call us. I mean, if you got roaches or rats, you can always call us. We'll do it for you. Although, if you are looking for a retirement gig, we're hiring. And
Put Babs to work.
just
What would I do?
find the rats and the roaches. We'll teach you how to spray, the organic stuff, the low impact stuff, the eco-friendly stuff.
No, thank you.
We'll teach you how to
Besides,
mix.
I don't drive anyway, so I couldn't get to work.
On your license, I would legally change your name to Babs.
Okay.
So that on your license, we could call you Babs the Exterminator. And then I would make a comic book character out of you. And I would have it voiced by who's the pretty girl that did Van Helsing?
Ooh.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Look
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah, you'd be Kate Beckinsale's Aunt Babs.
Aunt.
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 And
Aunt.
Kate Beckinsale
Aunt
would
Babs.
correct you on that too.
Aunt
She's also
Babs.
British.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Aunt Bobs or Aunt Babs?
Aunt Babs.
Aunt Babs.
Aunt.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I
But
dig it.
my kids and grandkids and great grandkids call me Nanny.
That's cool.
Not Nani.
That's- No, Nanny.
Nanny.
Nanny. And that's British.
Go talk to your nanny Aunt Babs. Okay. Cool. Rock on. The nanny
No, it's
Aunt
Nanny.
Babs.
No, they don't say Aunt Babs.
My throat, it's like there's like I don't know if it's called a glottal stop in there.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. You're a blast.
It has been fun. And unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to you.
All right,
because
Cardon from Unipest,
we
give
have-
us your contact information.
Yes.
661-BUG-7575. Just call us at 661-284-7575.
Perfect. You've been listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS 98.1 FM, AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And our guest now is the one and only Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's on the agenda for the day?
Well, I think we were going to talk about maybe that the leaves are starting to change. We're back to Santa Ana winds and stuff. So we're getting into fall. And so let's talk about some fall prevention.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
The clocks are going back. So
Yeah, that's
Hey,
right. We fall
I
back.
thought we were going to get
This
rid of
weekend.
that.
That's right.
supposedly we were supposed to. I don't know. I heard rumor that this was supposed to be the last time that we touched the clocks, but I don't believe anything I hear on the news
doesn't-
anymore.
It doesn't make any
So,
sense
no.
to me.
Yeah,
No.
I thought we said that last 3 years in a row.
Yeah, yeah. What? Who cares?
Yeah.
So you just got to move on, right?
That's
But falls are important because
For
this is the number one cause of people winding up in a nursing home
and using a walker.
Yep,
using a
for
walker.
Sure.
And for some unfortunate people, it is the beginning of the end because
Oh,
once
no, not for me.
not for you,
It's
the beginning of the beginning.
That's right, yeah.
You break your hip, wind up hospitalized.
That's true.
Doesn't exactly respond the way that you'd like it to because there are many factors involved at that point, and then it's just a downward spiral from there for way too many people. So
and
an ounce, we're going to talk imperial
an
measurements
ounce of
for
prevention.
an ounce of prevention is a pound sterling of cure, which is beating the dollar still just a little bit, even with Brexit or whatever. I don't know. I'm not political.
Right, there you go.
Well, don't more seniors fall?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we work on. We
Yes.
work on balance, we work on fall prevention, that type of stuff. And, it's really important, especially when we get to this time of year, winds are blowing. And so if you're, a little unstable, gust of wind, I saw yesterday on the news, 76 mile an hour winds, so that gust can blow you over. So you have to be aware. You have to make sure that you're keeping all of your muscles strong and stable.
Well, I stand at the sink
Yep.
and hold on,
Uh-huh.
and these legs
Doing all
go out
those
this way
exercises.
and back there and back
Yep.
there and up here and up here.
Yep.
So at least I'm exercising.
For sure.
Other than that, I'm doing a lot of sitting,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
We
So-
don't like the sitting.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I
but-
like the sitting too, but I'm catching up on magazines and newspapers. Sometimes I don't read the newspaper for 3 days, and I got 3 days worth of newspapers to read. That's what I was doing this morning,
Yeah.
catching up on my newspapers. Oh, I tell you, because my daughter had to leave early this morning. She stayed overnight, but
Yeah.
had to leave.
What I like to do is I teach my patients, I call it the 30-30 rule. So if you've been sitting for 30 minutes, then you should get up and go do something different for about 30 seconds.
The 30-30 rule.
Yep.
Oh, how interesting.
So I like to do that just because if you think about it, if you're in a seated position, and obviously you're shifting around a little bit and you're moving things, but things are on stretch that maybe normally aren't on stretch. And the analogy I always like to give is that, if I hold my finger back like this, it doesn't hurt right now, right? But if I do that for 30 minutes, it's not going
Oh,
to feel great
no, it's
because I'm
not.
stressing that ligament right there. And so the same thing can happen if you're sitting, especially if you're sitting in poor posture, but sitting for a long period of time. And so the research has shown that if you get up and get moving, even for as little as 30 seconds, you can actually reset that clock on that tissue. So
So that's 30-30.
30-30. It's easy to remember, and it's just kind of a rule of thumb. So
Yeah,
that way,
I wrote it down.
and I do that a lot
30-30
with my clientele that are working a desk job because they're sitting there for sometimes 6-8 hours a day, and then they come in with all these different problems. But like you were saying, you just were catching up on 3 days of newspaper. So how long were you sitting in that chair?
Over 2 hours.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you
over
got to
2
get up and
hours.
get moving. Number one, it helps with circulation. It gets blood flowing and all that type of stuff. It just keeps everything moving.
Well,
So
I think psychologically, I knew I was coming here.
yeah,
And I knew I had to get up and get dressed and get outside and wait for my ride,
yep,
and I didn't sit down.
Yeah.
Because I have this
the
water
walker.
thing here with the
Uh-huh.
water in it,
Yep.
and it's hard to sit down on. So
But
I went outside and started walking up and down the block.
Yeah.
Until
you go.
Carla came to pick me up.
That's perfect. So you got out and
So-
got moving
Yes, I did. And it's a good feeling. It makes you feel good
for sure. Because
after you've been sitting for such a long
circulation, you're getting those
Yes.
muscles contracting and relaxing,
Yeah.
and it's a really good thing
Exercise.
for sure. And that's I do another thing I like to do is do a walking program with people. And so sometimes if you've had an injury and you've been, say, hospitalized, and so maybe your endurance isn't that great, that 30-30 rule is really good because you can literally every 30 minutes get up and maybe you just walk to the kitchen and back, or to the bathroom and back, or something like that, and then you start building on that. So now maybe you walk out to the mailbox and back, and then you go
Well,
a
that
house
I
down.
wouldn't do.
What's that?
Walk out to the mailbox without this.
Oh, I'm not saying
But
without the walker.
Without, I walk around
Yeah.
from my living room to my kitchen because I have things I can hold on to
Mm-hmm.
that steady me.
Yeah.
But I do walk around without that in various places in the house.
Yeah.
Because I have something to hold on to.
Right.
To keep me steady if I feel myself moving.
Yeah.
But I've got to get over that.
Yeah.
I have to
Exactly.
keep doing it so I can walk without this stupid thing. It's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, well, just walking alone is good medicine. It's maybe not the greatest exercise. I mean, you're not going to walk yourself into a swimsuit cover model, but it is good medicine. And they've actually just, well, not so recently, but there's a lot of buzz on it that they dropped it from 10,000. You don't actually need 10,000 steps. You only need 8,700. All the research shows now. So if you can get, what does that work out to? Barb, when do you wake up?
Usually about 7:30,
In the morning, and what time do you go to bed?
10.
Okay, so you've got 15 hours to get almost 9,000 steps in. So that I can't do
I've
the
never
math
had
in the
it.
top of my head right now, but it's something about 500 steps an hour, give or take, in that range. I can't do the math, but let's just say that you need to get 500 steps an hour, right? So start making that a goal. Even if it's just 15 here, 15 there, 15 here, 15 there. And in
Well,
fact, I think that's better
That's
because it
probably
keeps
not a
it keeps
bad
you,
idea,
and it keeps
because that keeps my mind going too
Exactly.
when I'm counting them.
yeah.
Right. Then you build on that. You can build up the endurance. So if you say
That's a
15
good
steps is
idea.
tough, maybe next week like I said, that's where my example of kind of going to the mailbox, but you increase those steps. Maybe I'm doing 30 steps. Well, that's 100% increase if you were only doing 15 every hour, and that all builds up, and it will get easier and easier and easier, and you'll build up that endurance, and that's
Well, when it's nice outside, I like to get on the walker and walk up and down the street,
that's great.
which I do.
Absolutely, and that's helping building up your endurance, and it's helping building the strength. Even though you're using the walker, you're still building endurance and strength with that because you're doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, my kids have a fit when they see me without this thing.
As a
Wow.
therapist, I would have a fit too with you, because if you're doing what we call wall walking, that means your balance isn't where it needs to be, and we got to get that better for sure.
Well, it's there if I need to hold on to
Uh-huh.
it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm walking from the chair into the dining area,
Right.
but I'm walking over to the other chair.
Right.
And then I'm walking over to the wall, and then I'm walking over to the sink.
Right.
So I'm
You're
I'm not
strategically
using
maneuvering
that.
through your place.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm
Right.
trying to do
Right.
to make sure I don't fall.
Right. But what we do in physical therapy, and hopefully with Dr. Polucki as well, is we're trying to progress people so that they don't have to be reliant on that wall, on that sofa, on that counter, so that their balance is good enough that they can do that safely and get rid of those assistive devices.
Yeah. Well,
But sometimes it's not an option. Sometimes the having the assistive device is the most important, because it keeps you safe and it keeps you from the fall and keeps you from what could go there.
that's what my kids say.
Exactly.
We don't need for you to fall,
Exactly.
Right.
break something, and land in the hospital.
Right.
Exactly.
At your age, you need to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
dead set on doing.
Yep.
So
I mean,
there,
live set on doing.
Right.
That's not right, is it?
there are some, instead of just waiting for you to fall and trying to deal with the injury after the fact, there are some ways in the functional approach that both Adam and I, this is what we do to try to make sure you don't fall in the first place. And I think that's a much better strategy, although it's not, people can't really wrap their head around prevention so much. They typically know that they have to do something once they're already hurt. But prevention is a hard sell. But as we both agreed on before, just a little bit of prevention saves you a lot of aggravation and maybe save your life.
Well, that's true.
For sure. Yeah,
So-
and that's some of the stuff that we talk about, like when you come in for an evaluation, if balance is what we're addressing, we'll talk to you about things in your home, throw rugs. Everybody likes to have them, but they're a tripping hazard. And so, sometimes it's, even though we like the way they look and that type of stuff, it's a more of a safety issue, and you get those up off the floor, so you're not catching a toe that potentially you could fall and lose your balance and fall. Making sure there aren't things in the floor, and that especially, as you're going around corners with your walker, making sure there's not things that you're going to catch a wheel on and get stuck, and then your body keeps going and the walker doesn't.
Well, this has 4 wheels, so it does
You'd be
keep
amazed,
going.
though.
It does
You'd be
keep
amazed
going.
if you got a head of steam going around a corner and you catch, say there's a bookshelf or something that's in the way, and you catch
Well,
that.
I don't get a head of steam. Believe me. No, not anymore.
Well, that's a good
I
thing. It sounds
used
like
to.
somebody's working with you and doing a good job, because I'll tell you, I
Used
get
to.
patients that look like they're falling forward as they're walking into the clinic. So,
No,
you know.
well, that's one of my biggest gripes with walkers.
Yeah.
When you see people on walkers and they're walking like this
Yeah.
instead of standing up straight,
Yep.
because they don't realize that these are adjustable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that drives me nuts, absolutely nuts. This I fixed it so that I can stand up straight when I have my hands on the wheel, on
Yep.
the handlebars, and it's moving, and I'm standing up straight instead of leaning over like this.
Yep.
And that really bugs me. And sometimes I say that to people and get myself in trouble. But
Well, you're doing them a service. I mean, that's the right
But that's what
approach
they
that
should
should
be
be.
doing,
Exactly.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
really should be.
Yeah. Yeah. You're supposed to be up in the walker, not pushing behind it.
No.
It's not a sled.
No, because that way your body is like this when it
Yeah.
should be like this.
Yep.
Yeah, and your head weighs about the same as a bowling ball. So hanging that out in front of you is
Yeah,
a
that's true.
massive strain.
Yes.
Not just on your head, neck, and shoulders, but on everything.
On your whole
Everything
body.
below that is really stressed out.
Yeah, it really bugs me when I see that, and I see it a lot if I go to the grocery store with one of my kids. Oh, that drives me nuts, and I want to get over there right now and tell them, stand up straight. Go fix that walker so you can stand up straight.
Right.
Barb's got supermarket rage.
Right.
Jeez.
right?
Well, no, it drives me crazy because I know it's damaging them more than they are already damaged,
Yeah.
and they don't need to be.
Welcome to our world,
Right.
Barb.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
This is how we see everybody all the time.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true. That's very true. Very true. So, well,
All right, Adam, you're coming back?
I'm coming
All
back.
right, we got to take a short break. You're listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS 98.1 FM, AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. And we just heard an ad on the television, TV, radio, whatever it is, about the newbie.
Yes. So the
So-
newbie is a piece of equipment that we use. We're the only one in Santa Clarita that uses it. It's pulse direct electric current, which may not mean much, but it basically allows us to map the nervous system. And for our senior population, a lot of seniors, whether it be because of diabetes or whatever, may have like peripheral neuropathy. So that's basically, it means your hands or your feet are kind of numb, and you've lost some sensation. And one of the cool things that they're getting ready to publish a new study on that they just did with the newbie, that it demonstrated significant improvements with peripheral neuropathy, which is very difficult to treat. There's not a lot of good successful treatments. So I'm super excited to see once they publish the study to actually read the study. But that's important for what we were talking in the first segment of the show, with falls. If you've got less sensation in your feet and your hands, you don't necessarily feel the ground, as well. And that can make your balance more challenged. And so they showed in the study with the statistics that I do know is they showed significant improvements in 12 sessions, which is really cool. They showed with what's called the nerve conduction velocity. And I know I'm using kind of terms that probably mean nothing to you, but that's a test that we do to see how fast a nerve conducts. And in somebody with peripheral neuropathy, the nerve isn't conducting that fast. And so that's how they diagnose it. And they were able to show significant improvements in that test to show that the sensation in this case, the feet or the hands, was improving. And so I'm super excited about that because I've been treating, and I don't know about Dr. Polucki, but I've been treating peripheral neuropathy for 23 years. And it's a challenging one to treat, with not the greatest success rate. But since I've been using the newbie for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had some pretty cool success stories. And now we're going to get the research that backs up what we're doing, which I'm
Right.
super excited about.
So
Yeah.
how do you spell that? N-E-W?
The newbie, it's NEUBIE.
N-E-U.
Yeah, and if you go on our website, you can check it out. There's a section on the newbie, and it explains a little bit. There's a cool little 3-minute video that kind of explains how it works. So yeah, definitely go on the website, which
And
is
what's the website?
it is www.focusptscv.com.
Focus
PTSCV.
PTSCV.
Yep, for Santa Clarita Valley. Focus PT was taken, so I had to add the Santa Clarita Valley.
www.focusptscv.com.
Yep.
Okay.
You go on there and
.gov.com.
.com. Yep. And then you go on there, and if you look under treatments, the newbie has its own page that you can look at, and there's a little 3-minute video that kind of explains in kind of a cartoony form. It's kind of cool, but it explains how the newbie works.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Right.
we love it. We work with the newbie all day long. We literally have 5 of them in the clinic, and they run all day long because patients just love it. The only contraindication for the newbie really is if you've got a pacemaker, we can't use that, which for our senior population could be a definite possibility.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's very
Yep,
true.
for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Newbie.
Newbie. Yep.
And the 30-30 rule.
We got all kinds of
Okay, I've got all
tidbits
kinds
today,
of
right?
notes here.
We got all
from-
kinds of homework.
Yes. And why not?
So real quick, what's the 30-30 rule?
So for every 30 minutes of sitting, you're getting up and moving for 30 seconds.
That's a good one.
And sometimes you got to set your phone for a 30-minute timer because 30 minutes while you're reading the
Yeah.
paper,
Oh,
next thing you know,
yes,
you're
it
2
goes
hours.
really fast.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Or set a timer or whatever it is you want to do. to get you up and moving. Really helps.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yep.
But if I focus,
Ah, thank you.
if I focus, I can usually catch myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of what's going on with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in the greatest of shape,
No.
and I guess age has a lot to do with it. Plus, I think the 30-30 rule.
Yeah, as much as you
Yes.
can automate your self-care. If you once things are a habit, they're much easier to stick with. But
That's
until
very
they
true.
are a habit, especially in taking care of yourself, self-care does require some reminders, some
Yes.
ritualization. Make sure that you exercise first thing in the morning, yada, yada, yada. But I'm stealing Adam's thunder. Give us your contact information, please.
So our phone number is 661-255-4205, and we are located at 25050 Peachland Avenue, Suite 205, just off of Lyons. And our website is www.focusptscv.com.
And what was
Thank you.
that phone again? I'm sorry.
661-255-4205.
Thank you, Adam. You've been listening to Senior Hour at KHTS 98.1 FM AM 1220 hometownstation.com. We're sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Eye Med Spa and Comfort Keepers.